Finally, we exist. This is the podcast that talks about men's and women's sports equally. We'll talk about the big games and we'll sprinkle in a little trash talk here and there. And we will confront the inequality of sport. Finally wants to thank our sponsor, HelloFresh. Forget takeout. HelloFresh delivers all the ingredients for delicious, healthy meals that anyone can prepare at home in less than 30 minutes. Go to hellofresh.ca and use promo code ANTICA50 to get 50% off your first order. We are produced by Homestand Sports. Check out homestandsports.com for more news and check out some of our podcasts and upcoming events like Hoop Talks, Puck Talks, and Pitch Talks. Who was super pumped about the Super Sunday that was the Super Bowl? I was, and so is Jackie Perez, Toronto Argos in-game host and the in-game host for the Grey Cup in Toronto. Remember that? Well, football is football, and we ain't discriminating between the CFL and the NFL, and the epic snacks are all the same too. Jackie, we're going to be talking about the year of football. I mean, it was basically your year of football, right?
It felt like it. I mean, both in CFL and NFL, they had historical championship games.
Yeah, no kidding. And you were like living, breathing, like your soul was the Grey Cup game in Toronto. So that kind of like takes precedence over Super Bowl 51. Mind you, like I'm sure you and I were probably both equally screaming at the screens the entire time. Like I was
pacing back and forth in the second half. Like the first half was a write-off, but the second half I had to put like my drinks down, I had to put my food down. I just couldn't hold anything because I thought I would throw something at someone.
Okay, so you're a little on the violent side.
No, I just can't sit still watching it, you know? I don't know about you.
Oh, I can sit still. I just like lay back, relax, and then sometimes I get vocal. I'm the vocal one. Or if like a really big play comes up, I'll stand up and gasp or like point at the screen. Like it's really silent but lots of movement kind of thing. But I will yell at the TV like, ah, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of grunting, I think, that happens, or just like, ah, what? Ah, just like random grunts. But yeah, anyway, that's just a piece of what watching Super Bowl with Jackie was like.
A piece. What was your Super Bowl snack for the night?
It was really cool. There was a bunch of friends that got together, and my friend who was hosting, they had put together a Super Bowl themed platter. Like they had a concession stand with like pop and Gatorade. They had like little chips. There were chicken fingers. We had little they were all like handheld or like bite sized like tacos. So finger food. Lots of finger foods, but we were really into the spirit of the football team. They were really creative with making a nacho veggie platter, and the guac, sour cream, and spinach dip was the field, and then they had these little players on it as well, and then the yellow posts for the end zone.
No freaking way.
And all around was the chips and the carrots. So
did you take a picture?
Creative.
Like, did you take a picture to post on Pinterest or something?
You know what? I probably didn't take a picture. I think I took a video, though, just to see how cool it was. But I was busy eating it. But, no, the setup was pretty sweet because they have a studio, and they had a projector screen that they had on their giant wall. And then we had, like, 3 or 4 couches set up in front of it. So it was a little home theater that we had going. So it was pretty sweet setup. I don't know how yours was. Was it as movie theater like?
Well, let me tell you, I was working during Super Bowl 51, but it was the best kind of work because my work kind of involved watching Super Bowl 51. It was like two birds, one stone. Well, yeah, technically speaking, like on the weekends, I work for CH News in Hamilton, and we were in between the 6 o'clock and the 11 o'clock evening news. So we turned, not me, the boys, they turned the control room, which has screens like at least 12 feet going across in the control room. that are usually patched into just about any little channel you can think of. All three big ones were Super Bowl, so it was great. I could not miss it, and I just had my feet up the entire time, and I was lame with my Super Bowl snacks. I brought microwavable popcorn, and I brought my own dinner while everyone else was eating, like, they ordered pizza, fried chicken. I'm just like, I had to make my own dinner.
A good crew with you watching it, I think. That's what matters. That was part of it.
Seriously, I watched it. I watched it with Ashley Docking, who is the host of The Bounce, but she does, which is a basketball podcast, but she does all the sports, and football is like one of her bread and butters. And then our host, who was filling in for the weekend, was Phil Perkins. He played football in college, high school. I think he went to Western. Anyways, he's a big football nut. I'm pretty sure he's been to Seattle a few times because he loves the Seahawks. And then one of our editors, Matt, he's a big football guy. I was surrounded by sports people, so it couldn't have been a more perfect crew for a more perfect night to watch.
No, of course.
To watch
especially
the Super Bowl.
With, like, you know, I'm jumping ahead, but even with the overtime happening, I think when the final whistle blew, or before overtime, everyone was just looking at each other like, well, what's happening now? What are the rules for overtime? Do we know the overtime rules? So we were just Googling it for the next 2 minutes. But you had right there the experts around you to figure out what's going to happen next.
Isn't that so funny? Because when the Grey Cup went into overtime, nobody knew what was going to happen either. Like, I know when we were working on that, everyone's like, okay, what happens now? Like, what happens in overtime CFL? And then NFL comes around, we're like, okay, what happens now? Like, nobody knows. Everyone's
like, they're like, you should know. You're in football. I'm like, that is CFL. Again, they are different rules. but I was like, I will tell you what happened at the CFL one.
Girl, you got football written on your forehead. You're like a football encyclopedia walking around with 2 legs and 2 arms.
Yeah, no, it was good to be that person on Sunday night. But yeah, no, it was an incredible game. I couldn't believe that the Patriots came back and so late in the game. That was like a miracle.
Yeah, it was like angels in the outfield kind of thing. They came down to Houston Energy Stadium. But here's where I'm a little iffy on the win. I wouldn't say that Atlanta choked. I wouldn't say that. I would say that they had such a good, almost the first and second half completely flip-flopped. Atlanta, they dominated the first half, and the Patriots were sitting back. And then the second half, that's when the Patriots started dominating and Atlanta started to sit back. Not in the sense where they let them have it and they thought that they had the game won, but that's just how dominant the Patriots offense is. Like, once Brady turns on that switch.
I think at the end of the day, sorry, what you're saying?
No, go ahead. Tell me what happens at the end of the day.
No, I think at the end of the day, because as they were climbing back and getting closer and closer, the Patriots to the Falcons, you just saw the Falcons. Not that they didn't fall apart. It's just you can tell they started to panic. And at the end of the day, you have the Patriots who have so much Super Bowl experience, or just you have Tom Brady who has all that experience. And at the end of the day, that's what matters in the end, because they know how to keep it cool. They know how to play when they're down and just come back from that. And they've been through that pressure before, where Atlanta is not as, like, when was the last time they were in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Right?
I probably wasn't even born.
So, I mean, but at the end of the day, for me, and I think that holds true for a lot of sports, it's that experience always wins out. Not always wins out, but usually wins out, especially if they're going to try to come back like that. Like, we shouldn't be surprised that they did, because, yeah, they had that, like, they have so much experience being in the Super Bowl.
You can't teach
and handling that kind of pressure.
Exactly. You can't teach heart, but you can't teach experience either. You just got to go through it. And with Tom Brady at the helm and practically the entire team that has been along for, 11 straight AFC Championship appearances, like, that in itself is, you can't really knock off the king off his throne.
No, that's like an army. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they basically breathe the same breath, and, like, they all know and think the same things. You know, that's that chemistry that they've built in those 11 years.
Yep, you got that right. That's all about chemistry. And another part that still, like, ruffles my feathers, pun intended, for the Atlanta Falcons.
ruffle the feathers. I hope you save that for today's conversation.
I will
use this line. Ruffling the feathers.
This is going in the description for the podcast. But my Falcon feathers are ruffled because that last drive by James White, I still think that he didn't cross the plane before his knees touched the ground.
No?
Or his one knee touched the ground. No, I still don't believe it.
I don't know. It was tight. I believe it touched the ground. I believe it touched the ground. And I know you're super upset with that call, but no, it was. I mean, it was, for me anyway. It was really evident that he did not touch the ground first. But again,
I had three screens in front of me, Jackie.
I want to stay from this.
Dude.
I know. I want to stay away from this with you.
3 screens. I saw it 3 times 3. Okay. As you can see, the feathers are starting to fall off now. Like, they're so ruffled. If I could speak, man, this is like affecting my speech right now. Oh my gosh. No, I didn't even have a team. I honestly didn't care who won. I would have been happy with the underdog story, and I would have been happy with Brady getting his 5th ring. Like, the man needs a whole hand of rings to like show off on Instagram.
You think he does? I don't. So at the beginning of the game, like we were all talking and just asking who everyone was going for, and a lot of people, like one person out of like 10 people, was going for the Patriots, and then you had a lot of people going, no, I want Atlanta to win. It's their chance. Like, the Patriots have had their chances, and Tom Brady has enough rings. And I was the same way. Like, he has enough rings. He doesn't need to win another one. But I think it's just a remarkable story that like he did win his 5th one, and that his mom was in the audience there, and his mom was suffering from this illness, and it was her first game watching him play this entire season. So what better way to watch your first game from your son than seeing him win his 5th Super Bowl?
In that dramatic fashion. The only overtime game in 51 years. I still don't believe it.
Yeah, in 51 years, right? In 51 years, with the first overtime, and again, I don't think any of us are going to live to see another overtime in that kind of fashion, or that kind of comeback. But again, like you said earlier, I was very lucky to experience something similar with, the CFL version. Mm-hmm. I mean, Ottawa was leading the entire time against Calgary, and then Calgary came back. But, Ottawa managed to hold down in overtime and win the Grey Cup.
Yeah. So you're just surrounded by drama in football this year.
I think but that's what makes the game exciting, right? I mean, I'm glad I got to witness, in a span of 6 months, that really high intense. Like, I was biting my nails for both and like pacing around back and forth, not knowing who's going to win. So that's really cool to experience.
That's the beauty of sport, right? It unites people. You can be on two different sides, but if you're united in the passion of loving that sport and watching athletes just perform and just do beautiful things with their bodies, like that's the unifying aspect of sport.
And like what you said about united that sport and showcasing athletes at their best, or giving it their all, but you really do see their heart, and you see you just see how much they want. Like, who at the end of the day, it's who wants it more, and obviously the Patriots wanted it more, but
just slightly more. But you know what was awesome is you get to see a human side out of. Once the game is said and done, you get to see the human side of the athletes. Henry Burris at the end, when he won his MVP, and he was so emotional, and he had like all those kids around him, and everyone could sense that his retirement was coming up. You could feel emotional and connected to that guy.
I thought he had one more year. And I was just like, oh, cool, he's got to come back, because a Grey Cup's in Ottawa next year. It's predicated as 150th. Like, they could try for back-to-back, but yeah, I mean, like, that guy's had an amazing career, in the CFL alone, and like the nicest guy and one of the most humble people. So, good for him. Like he did amazing. I think that's a really great way to go out when you win the Grey Cup.
Do they call him Humble Henry? Because they should.
Humble Hank.
Humble Hank. Yeah, Humble Hank Burris.
That's nice. I think I saw on my feed, it was earlier this week, they had brought the Grey Cup to like a TV show, the TV show out in Ottawa, and he was there, and they had put poutine inside the cup, and he was eating from the cup.
No. That's brilliant.
You need to look that up. It was pretty, I was like, oh, that's very creative and very Canadian.
That's freaking amazing. Like,
what
you
would
could
the
put beer
equivalent be?
after.
Pardon?
Like, no amount of beer, or not even the nicest Canadian beer, could top having poutine in the Grey
In a
Cup.
cup, right? Yeah.
Right.
I hope they
You can't do it.
cup first. Like, I have no idea where that's in, but
Whoever wins it next year is gonna have like dried on
gravy and cheese curds.
Yeah, and like the little pieces of the French fries that nobody wants.
Delicious.
They're
Not
good.
really,
The crispy
no.
parts are the best. No, I like it.
So
Yeah,
another
don't
highlight
judge.
for me for Super Bowl is the entertainment, of course. I mean, you talked about uniting people like on the field, even people watching it. I find everyone was watching that Super Bowl this weekend, whether or not like I was at my fitness class. I overheard people saying, "Oh, like I have no idea who's playing." Like there's that really dreamy guy playing, but I'm just going because it's something to do with it gets people. It's an excuse to get people together. But we have a lot of people also talking about they're just there to watch the halftime show or the commercials.
Yeah.
So
Usually our fellow girlfriends.
fellow girlfriends, yeah, no, even guy friends, but
But even for Lady Gaga,
Gaga,
Lady Gaga.
is that how
I'm
you
telling
say her
man.
name? Gaga.
Oh yeah, she's the one. She is Mother Monster. She is A1 for me. I loved it. What did you think of the halftime show?
Anytime it was the show. Her intro. I mean, I think we all knew that she was starting from the stands, and that was for me. That was a really reminiscent of Michael Jackson when he had these big. I think he did it on two sides where he impersonators. They started on the big jumbotrons, and then they popped up onto the top of those jumbotrons, and they were impersonator Michael Jackson. And then in the middle,
Ooh,
Michael comes out. So I love that you kind of see artists take from the past or their idols or people they truly admire and bring that into their performance. So Gaga starting up there and then jumping down is, I thought, very Michael Jackson-like. Her intro with that song, like God Bless America and This Land Is Your Land,
Yes, that was nice. That was classy. If we had to describe her halftime show in one word, I would give it classy.
It's so classic, and I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, she's not as political or as straightforward as we expected her to be, and outlandish." But the thing with Gaga is that's what she's been since she started her career. Her music, it tells a story itself, so she doesn't have to do anything outrageous or say anything directly political, because she just let her music speak for everyone.
From the way that I saw it, I feel like she didn't have to, not saying anything political was political enough.
Exactly.
Because so many things are being said right now coming from good and bad places. But the fact that she started off with the God Bless America, and her songs were based about inclusiveness and staying together. That was the politics of her message, and it was said in a very beautiful way that it wasn't drowned out. It didn't drown out the music and the performance. You got to enjoy it, and then you had the takeaway.
Yeah, because I mean, everyone was singing along. I'm sure you were singing along when she was doing, Just Dance or,
Yes.
Poker Face, and
Yes,
all of her old school hits. And when you first heard it, you're thinking about how you were feeling back then, and you would listen to the words now. Yeah, there are some political undertones to it, but at the end of the day, it's just a fun song or a fun mix of songs. She chose her songs so well. When she started singing Telephone, I was losing my mind, because I was like, Beyonce's gonna come, Beyonce's gonna come, Beyonce's gonna come.
People were upset that Beyonce wasn't there, but how do you expect a woman to come there? Could have had your Michael Jackson and Beyonce moment all in one night.
Beyonce's coming, and you know what? Good on Gaga for having the show just herself, because I think in the last how many years, you expect the surprise act of somebody coming, so it's not even a surprise anymore that you're going to expect somebody to drop in unannounced. But just to have Gaga hold down that stage or that field by herself it shows just how awesome she is.
Yeah, girl, she held it down.
Yeah.
She ran the show. And another person that really touched me like in a corazon, like when I was watching the Super Bowl at the end, was Giselle. Giselle to
Oh my
me
God.
is Tom Brady's sixth ring, sixth trophy. Like, I don't care what anyone says. He wouldn't have the lifestyle he has today without her watching the kids, bringing them up in a nice way, probably influencing his eating habits so that he has that championship frame of mind
How
every
many
season.
people, did you Google this? I was like, how many people have searched what they eat in their everyday life? Because that was an article I just saw like repeatedly shared on my social media this past 2 weeks. And I've learned, why do I know this? But why did I learn that, like they have a personal chef who like makes up their meals for the weekend. It's like they don't have any like tomatoes because it's it's inflammatory like properties, or like they stay away from like certain things. I don't know if it's dairy, but they just have a very strict diet. And
yeah, they do
prepares
have
it for
a
them.
super strict diet. Like no sugar, probably no gluten, probably no dairy, which, it's not a bad thing. Like sometimes the body can't just handle it, but they follow that from head to toe.
But
It looks good on them.
Brady's what, like 40, 41? And he
I don't
still
even
looks
know.
like he's like, yeah, like, I mean, it looks like he could still play for a couple more years.
Yeah, I think he does.
Maybe he isn't
think
40,
he's
41.
got
I
a
think
few
he's a
more
little
years.
younger than that. But yeah, like he still looks like he has like a couple years left in him to play. And, maybe we all need to cut out all these things. But what's the fun in that?
Yeah, that
What's
would be
the fun in
nice,
that?
right?
Then I can't
Well,
have
I
my
mean-
chicken fingers and my tacos and my, my chips
I know.
on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, you can have like the salad and the workout in the day to offset. Like that's the whole point of working out in my mind, is so that I can eat all the garbage and all the shit I want. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Like the body is ready. The body can handle it because it's just gonna melt right off the next day.
Break even.
Like I bet you dietitians are like cringing listening to this, but that's just how it works. Okay?
Breaking even. That's the goal. I hope they don't cringe at that. Just break even.
Breaking even is fine. Like my body's a temple, not a business. It's all right.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So,
Well,
so
I'm
how
glad
did
that
you,
we
like,
could
how
talk
did you leave
football.
where the final play was called? Well,
Pardon me?
Where the final play was, or the final whistle was blown. How did you feel?
I was like, wow, okay. Like, I think I'd stood up and like that way I was describing earlier, just like an athlete on the field, like showing like that monstrous, I don't know, nostrils flaring kind of thing. And you're like, oh shit, they just did it. Like it was kind of that thing. Like I wasn't like happy or upset, but I just gotten up and like, wow, we just witnessed something amazing.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it, actually. Like, I mean, I felt like there was like this balloon that deflated in the room, but at the same time, it was like I feel like it was like a miss it and or blink and you'll miss it situation, because when
Yes,
they
it was so fast.
it was so fast. They scored a touchdown and then the whistle blew, and I anticipated, oh, okay, then now they're gonna get a chance to see if they could do it in like one run. But I was like, oh, it's done. What? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like,
Okay. They
I
won.
wish I wish Atlanta had a chance to fight back on at least one drive.
We had to look that up. We're just like, oh, okay. So they managed to just get it that first kick. So way to go, Patriots.
And that's where
like,
CFL
ugh.
that's where the CFL rules differ from the NFL overtime rules, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Because the other team would have had a chance had the opposing team had that first shot.
Because we looked this up, so don't quote me on that. But like for the Super Bowl, so you had your punt kick, and then if you score within that return, then there is no attempt on either side.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay, got it.
Okay. Man.
But yeah.
Oh, wow. They had their chance snatched away from them. It was dangling in front of their eyes. Oh,
I
wow.
don't know. I don't know if I was an Atlanta Falcons fan, even a player on that team. I have no idea how I would be feeling at the moment.
Well, it's okay. You know what? They gave it their best chance. At least because they didn't completely melt down and choke like everyone says they are, if I was the Atlanta Falcons, I could live with it.
Do you think that they choked, though?
I don't think. Everyone says they did. Like, going to Twitter, like, what do you know? Writing choke on Twitter and tweeting it out to the world just so you can get a few likes. Come on, man. Like, you're not seeing it from the athlete perspective.
Yeah.
Like, it
I'd
was
like
a
to know,
total
how
competition.
did they choke? Explain to me how they choked. What you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the Patriots just they came to play at the second half. They showed up at the second half.
Yep. That's all that happened. It was just the tables turned. The TSN turning point was halftime.
Yeah. Seriously, I don't know if Gaga influenced them, but
Maybe. She did have some nice shoulder pads. I was feeling her outfits.
Yeah.
She had some nice outfits. Yeah.
No, it was honestly, it was one of football, entertainment, everything, just the whole. It was one of my favorite Super Bowls I've seen in a really, really long time.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Like, I think every Super Bowl should have a close game. Doesn't have to go in overtime, but they should always have a close game. Make it competitive.
Yeah, you can't be mad at the result of the day, because at the end of the day, as a viewer, that was a great game.
That would have been perfect for all the ads. Like, nobody would have turned. Mind you, some people did turn off the show. Even Donald Trump left, in the third quarter when the Patriots were down by a lot. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of people turned off.
They said after halftime they got up and they was I decided to go home or whatever. I left after the half. But
that's why you always stay, Jackie. You see this in the stands all the time. Like, you have to stay in your seats from beginning to end.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're going off that, but for James game, you see people always leaving. I'm like, nope, just stay until the game's done. Just stay until the night, because you're leaving at the 7th. Stuff can happen still, and that's usually the best moments when we see everyone leaving. You're just like, I told you.
Exactly. That's the best moment. And then everyone's listening to it on the radio when they're leaving. They're hearing the fans in their car. They're driving away and they're just, no. And it's usually the one person that wants to stay. That poor one person. Their fate is in someone else's hands and they're just sitting in the back.
You're going with the wrong people then, because I'm like, nope, we are staying. We paid for these seats. And it's you don't leave halfway through a movie, so you're going to watch the whole thing.
Well, unless the movie's really, really, really bad.
Doesn't matter.
I've left through
the whole thing. You stay. Oh, no. You stay through the whole thing.
I don't know, Jackie. One time, many years ago, George Clooney came out with this football movie, a really old school football
Leatherhead?
with the leather helmet.
Leatherhead. Yeah.
We left.
I never saw it. I never saw it.
You didn't miss anything. You didn't miss a thing. And you work in football. You did not miss a thing. Trust me.
Yeah, I would call that I guess it is a football movie, but the story itself isn't football. So, but yeah.
Don't worry about it. Just pretend like we never talked about it.
Already forgotten.
Good. What movie was that?
You don't even know.
Well, Jackie, thank you so much for stopping by and talking some football with me.
Anytime. I had a blast with you. I'm sorry you had to cringe at White's. The before touchdown. I think we could agree to disagree. On that.
Okay, I'll shake on that one. We can agree to disagree. Okay. And looking forward to seeing you with Argos fans in the stadium in this upcoming season.
Yeah, no. The schedule officially got released this week. So home opener, save the date, June 25th. It's a Sunday, 4 p.m. Come out. We have 5 Saturday home games this season. So every Saturday, basically in August to October, more or less.
Okay, it's already marked on the calendar.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, thanks so much, Jackie, and we will talk soon.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Finally. Don't forget to check us out at homestandsports.com. And you can find me on social media at Nat_Stoberman. finally was brought to you by HelloFresh. Delicious healthy food delivered for you to make in your own kitchen. Use the promo code ANTICA50 for 50% off your first box, courtesy of your friends here at Antica Podcast Network and HelloFresh. And I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts on today's show, so please give us a rating on iTunes. See you next time.